Hello everyone. Many of you may have heard such theories that there are sites on the Darknet where can I order a video in which a person would be tortured. There were quite a few such stories at one time, and they all turned out to be just rumors. In any case, as far as I know, no one has ever found any facts that would say what this really, but where did such talk come from then? Someone might say that with the history of the Red Room, which turned out to be an exhaustion from and to. Someone can remember more stories. But in general, it all started with a small YouTube channel. The first video was uploaded to the channel over 15 years ago. There are very few views on the videos of this channel. On most of them there are only a few. This is even despite the fact that about 2 years ago, the channel was talking about this channel millionaire. And immediately, we see a tied man who is approached by a torturer in a mask with a huge knife. It already looks promising. A man with a knife cuts the ropes. Hello. Freeing the victim's limbs. Apparently she was brought here recently. In the second video, a man in a room walks back and forth and asks for help. In the end, he finds a camera and turns it off, for which a man in a mask beats him and turns him back on. The third video shows us that the person in the cell starts to feel hungry, and the video itself is called "My Animal Needs to Eat." In the comments, people chose what this person would eat. He ended up with a bag of cat food. It was for him that most of the comments were left. The last shots of the series seem to hint that the author was following his victim long before the events of the video. The next video confirms this idea. It is shown how the wearer of the mask watches the victim running at night.
And one day he beat him up and dragged him into his car. In one of the later videos, it will be demonstrated that the kidnapper sneaks into the victim's house and places several hidden cameras there.
At the end of this video, we are shown photographs of many people and the inscription, "My Ruzine." It looks like this is not the first time the author has kidnapped someone. The interactive continues, and the author says that he will continue to give the prisoner dirty water from this swamp. And now the commentators have to choose any item from the homework. Hello. With the help of which, the person in the frame will be able to make dirty water safe for himself. After that, an appeal from the victim's father comes out, who asks for any information about his son Eric. Why do you need to go to a site specially created for searches? This site is currently down. Then a video comes out again from this person, and he says that he was shown videos from YouTube from the channel that we are watching, and there he saw his missing son Eric. Well, we look at the conclusion of Rick further. Now they brought him dirty water, and then a man in a mask and a Santa Claus costume came with gifts. The gift box contained a bottle of bleach and instructions on how to use it to purify the water, which is what the hero of the show does for the rest of the video.
After that, the creator of the channel decided to explain his plan to us, saying that through what is happening with Eric he tells his big story. The only way for the prisoner to save is to go through this story from beginning to end.
At some point, he puts a statue of Jesus on the table. By the way, the same as it was in Stephanie's show.
In the new show, we were introduced to a new character, Eric's sister, who turns to the kidnapper. They say she will achieve the release of her brother. And in response, the kidnapper cuts her speech, so that her speech falls under the beat.
At the end of this rap battle, Eric is asked to ask 3 questions, to which he will have to answer. It is proposed to ask Eric such questions in order to save him. After that, a rather strange video comes out even for this show. Against a background of frames of various churches, music with a church choir is played, as well as a cut of audio recordings, in which different people confess. At the very end we are shown, like a man with a camera digs a grave, against the backdrop of a small makeshift cemetery. Looking ahead, I will say that the only way Eric can be saved is to make a sincere confession. This is what this video hints at. A video is coming out soon, in which a masked man reveals that he is an agent of a cult that exists all over the world. The next video is the only one on the channel, which got a lot of views. We again find ourselves in the lair of the masked villain, and the photographs of some woman fall into the frame. And at the same time, we are watching video fragments dated 2001. where our hero with the camera carefully spends time with this woman. And then the camera goes to the timed lapse, where Eric is sitting on the couch and drinking. Well, everything is clear. The girl left him and he swelled. Okay, there are 3 more videos. In the first of them, the maniac continues to mock Eric. He arranges a semblance of a quiz, the questions in which are just the same 3 questions from the most traveled viewers of this show. The questions turn out to be really not so crazy. The first 2 make Eric tell how bad everything was in his relationship with the girl, and how their common child, who they had, suffered from quarrels. He was in a long depression, nothing worked, when suddenly the girl came back, and got a good job. The penultimate video begins with the camera returning to the wall where the maniac has photographs of different people. Next, we are shown how a maniac drives a car along the road and picks up a prostitute. On the way, they start talking, and she says that in fact she dreamed of a different life. She wanted to be a singer and model, but something went wrong. She also turns out to be the previous victim of a maniac, and she also occupied the room in which she was before Eric. Now she is buried somewhere in the forest. The fact is that everything that happens is, of course, an RG game, in which, as usual, there were many Pascalok and riddles. Some viewers have solved them. The solution to these mysteries led people to the need to visit certain places in various cities in the United States. In one such place, they found an advertisement for the loss of a cat, which depicted the cat that from time to time runs through the kidnapper's house. In another, a black box was dug up. Inside the box was the prostitute's shoe from the penultimate video and the disc. On the disc, people found a video recorded by a certain police psychologist. He rides in the car and says that he was called to the scene of the crime, where they found a brutally murdered woman, a grown man and a living child who was there in terrible conditions. In this child's room, everything was covered in mud and littered with various rubbish. The task of the psychologist was to take the child to the police station. At the end of the video, a distraught child rushes at a police officer. This is the show. Scary enough for me. Subscribe to the channel and like it. Bye everyone. Hello.